Ah, she's so clean, she's mint. Not really, man. If you look close, if you look really close, she got rust bubbles, man. Rust bubbles. Yo, 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 what's crack-a-lackin'? This is the panel replacement because I have rot. This is part 2. Panel installation. I have a brand new panel over here I got from Mopar, the dealership. I had just sprayed the inside of this with some Rust-Oleum because he sealed it and cleared it, but it was black. When you open the door, you know, if you ever go to sell a vehicle and someone catches on, the other side's white, and you open the door, it's not a big deal, but down inside there it's white, and someone's gonna think, oh, you got in an accident. No, I didn't get in an accident. I'm replacing the panel. That's why I wanted to whiten there, so it's white in there now. Letting it dry up while I take off the panel. You know, you think you work at a dealership, just go the extra mile and squirt white where you can see in. You know what I mean? You open the door, you can see in. You think, but they don't think. So I have to do it. So that's the panel. I'm taking the. I got it jacked up just to give me some more room. I got to take off these screws for the fender flares. And this is kind of, it'll be an installation video as well. It's really simple. Here's the rust right here. You can, look at that, man. Look at that. It's 2017. And I hardly drive it. I got 45,000 miles in this thing. And it's straight up pushing through the panel. And I will show you why it's doing. I'll show you why it's doing that. That's the whole point of this, because if you see this video will give you the reason why. Bubbling and pushing through. So I'll try to make this quick. I know this is kind of boring for a lot of you, but I mean, if some of you have these bubbles, you'll probably appreciate this. There's a dampener right behind that area. Water must have got in and sat there and pushed the moisture through the panel and caused it to rust. The new one has dampeners, and I'll do a comparison when it's off. But this dampener is like a long rectangle one. It has a long, I don't know if you can see it, a rectangle one right there. I told the guy at the dealership, the collision center, to just caulk around it for the future. That way water can't get inside. He did. So that's cool. And there's another little dampener right there as well. But the one I'm taking off is going to have a, right here, it's going to have a square. It's a little different. So I don't know if that's an improvision or what. Well, let's start taking this fender flare off. Obviously, if you ain't got fender flares, you don't have to worry about this step at all. You can just skip. But I got the screws out, and there's a double stick tape holding it on. And you carefully, ever so preciously, pull it off, inch by inch. I forgot one little tab I gotta pull out. One of those body panel tabs there. Gotta pull it out. I got the tab out and wow. It's kind of messy. I thought, you know, this would seal any dirt from coming in, but that was a lie. And the bubbles, as you can see, are even further down. So eventually this would have just rot. Eventually it would become a hole. It's like, you know, rust is like cancer. You got to take care of it quickly. So I got to clean this up and remove all the tape and start going in the engine bay, start taking those bolts out and take this thing off. Popping these lower 10mm bolts out. They are covered in paint and they're close to the street, so they're gonna have a little grime on them. This is why I'm using a 12-point versus a 6-point, because this one just gripped it better. The 10mm wouldn't really go on here. I didn't want to hammer it on and mess up the paint. Wow. And just as I do that, this quality Pittsburgh wrench from good old Harbor Freight just failed. Awesome. Garbage. This is why they make better tools, man. Look at this thing. It just came out of the casing. 10mm again, top. Don't lose your 10 millimeter, man. Don't place it anywhere in here because it will fall. It's guaranteed. It's inevitable. Your 10 mil. Put it in your pocket. Thought that was the 10 mil going for a walk, man. They just like to walk away. They really do. Got to open the door for that one, but I need the extension so I don't scratch my door. Dude, see how things go for walks, man? That thing just went underneath that shelf. Found it. Nothing's more annoying when you are having a great day. You just had your coffee, you know, things are going smooth. You're getting along with the wife, kids are quiet, and then you drop something, and it just decides to go for a walk underneath the shelf. Like, you know what I mean? Always something with this stuff, man. Always something. I'm just glad it wasn't the 10 mil, because if it was the 10 mil, if you wrench, you probably lost about 20 10 mils in your life, probably 30. There's probably 2 sitting on the chassis somewhere inside there. You gotta remove this little rubber windshield trim here to get to that bolt. These 10 mil bolts, they have paint on them, so they're slightly bigger than 10 mil. I'm probably gonna re-squirt them after I'm done because they look like caca right now. And caca means rust. Caca rust. All right, now you got your battery bracket bolts. These are 13 mil. All right, so what I'm gonna do, instead of trying to take the battery out, because that'll be a mess, I got 2 more bolts down there, but when I get those out, I'm gonna try to slide this, push these brackets over a little bit so I don't have to mess with all this, because time is money. If every mechanic thought like this, never mind. That one was kind of tough because it had paint on the threads. And it probably gets kicked back when you're driving, you know what I mean? I PB blasted it, that helped. And there's not 2 there, there's 1. It's actually like a line-up pin. I thought it was a bolt, it's just 1 down here. Never mind, there is 2. There is 2. There's a bracket right there. This is plastic. This your fender. And there is 2. Right there, so that's 1, 2. This one you get from underneath, this one you get from up top. Those lineup pins I was talking about, there's actually 2 of them. And you just separate them right there. There you go, nice and careful like. And I believe that's it. I'm gonna try to slide this thing out without messing with the battery brackets. Woo, that was nice and a little too smooth. Wow, they don't, wow. They paint everything afterwards. All right, I'm gonna try to 2-hand this thing and just slide it out. The only issue, oh, okay, it disconnected, okay. Yeah, we're good, we're good. I just saw a lot of dirt and leaves come down. Just trying not to scratch my door. I don't want to touch that. What's going on in here? Oh, I got one more I gotta do. My bad. This is the first time I've done this, so I got 1 more to do right there, which is good to know right now. I'm gonna slide this back in and get that bolt out. I was just being careful. So I don't want to hit the door. The door's mint. Everything else is mint. It's just this 1 panel. I forgot 1 bolt. I should have checked. It's my bad. But at least you know, whoever's doing this. Right there. Last one. I got that bolt out. Let me do this again. Carefully. Without touching my door. There you go. All right. Little foam fender filler came out. I gotta make sure that goes back in. I think that's what was covering that bolt right there. Kind of threw me off a little bit. And the amount of leaves and grime that came out of that corner kind of scares me. That's a lot. This thing only has 45,000 miles on it. So imagine if you got 100,000 miles. That's just rot waiting to happen. Makes me want to do the other side and clean it out at least. Show you the dampener on the back. Oh, well, look at that. It's the same exact thing. It's the same exact one. Because I looked through the chassis. I'll show you where I looked through. I thought it was a square. And I could hardly see it. I was looking through. There. And it was dark. I had a flashlight. It's the same thing. Now, potentially, this could happen again in another 5 or 6 years. Yeah, let me pull this outside so you can see it better. So there's the rust. And if you flip it over, it's right here. Sorry. It's right here. This is where it's rusting. And you can feel a little bit of a pocket. You can see some rust here. You know, you're dampening a panel because it's already thin. You're putting the dampener on to make it not sound as tinny, to make it appear thicker and stronger. And what it's doing in the background is rusting. And you can see the rust here, flaking. Look at that. And here's where all the dirt was. Look at all this. Look at the dirt, the caked dirt. Didn't do any damage. I mean, obviously they use some kind of protectant on these panels that are close to the ground or in the wheel wells. But these trucks are notorious, even the rear wheel wells, for rusting. It's in pretty damn good condition. There's no rust except for here. You know, that's where the bolts were. It looks like it wasn't even painted, but it's in good condition. Makes me want to take the other side off and check it, clean it. All right, you got to see this. I removed some of the dampening pad. It's like all rust, dude. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that. Just rust. So they probably stick these things on when they stamp these. Stick this thing on and then paint. And there's any amount of moisture in there, it's going to be trapped, and eventually it's just going to grow into rust, cancer. Got a hollow spot here too. I wonder if it's doing it there. Charging $75,000, $80,000, $90,000 for new trucks, and this is what you get. You know, they make them last 5 years, 6 years. You live in an expendable world, man. They just want your money. Oh, there's my horns. I did not. Oh, they were there, so that's kind of cool. If you're gonna replace them, that's where they are, behind the front left quarter. I mean, not for nothing. This makes it way easy to work on your engine if you're doing headers or steering, anything for that matter. Here's your strut tower. It's all this room. You don't have a fender down here trying to, you know, go underneath. It's all right here. My new panel, it has the same exact dampener, and this was all bubble, and there was a bubble there. And I'm in construction. There's a code against double vapor barrier. You can't have a double vapor barrier because that will cause moisture, believe it or not. Greenhouse effect, whatever you want to call it. If I kept it like that, same thing would have happened within, I mean, it probably would have started rusting within a year or two. I wouldn't have seen the effects of it until like 5, 6 years later. This is all the parts that were bubbled. It looks like it's separated. It doesn't feel like urethane. It's really hard. It's just some kind of oil-based, like tar. It's weird. But I carefully, you know, you don't want to go stabbing this too hard. I went on an angle with the blade, nice sharp blade, without hitting the panel here and here. What I'm going to do is just put a bunch of layers of Rust-Oleum paint on there and hope for the best at this point. At least I won't have an area where there's a pocket, an air pocket, where moisture can form and ruin my panel again. Unbelievable. Like, guys, when you're at the factory doing your job, take some pride. It's ridiculous. The sheet metal is thin as it is, and they're putting these dampeners on without even like popping the air bubbles out and just slapping them on and letting the thing go down the assembly line, you know what I mean? Cleaned off the old adhesive off the fender flare. It's like a 1/4-inch strip that went all the way down. It's kind of thick. I scraped like 90% of it off so I can and I use a little bit of acetone to clean the surface carefully. Not to touch the face of this because it will take the paint off. And I got new 3M tape about the same thickness. I have 1 inch, so I put it on where it's supposed to go, seamless. And now I'm gonna cut the strip all the way down. And I'm gonna mount this and not take this off, the backing off, until, you know, it's bolted on in position, because once that sticks, that's it. This stuff is so stinking sticky. Also trying to find a part number for this. Because somebody was asking what the part number was. If this can help in any way, shape, or form, there you go. But I looked up DSFLD, nothing came up. But worth a try. Here it is, it's all set. Ready to go back on. I kept the rest too in case, I rolled it back up in case I might need it for the other side. I got the new panel and I'm gonna carefully slide it back into position. Stick the bolts in, and before I tighten them, make sure it's lined up and make sure the door isn't rubbing with it. Whew. That was a little quicker than I wanted, but it's in, mostly. Make sure this is lined up, these pinholes. All right, I got it where I want it, kinda. They're all slots where the bolts go through on the panel holes, because you can move this in and out, up and down. So I'm gonna spend some time getting the bolts in and lining it up for a second. All right, new panel's on. I have it perfectly lined up. I went on the other side and kind of copied what was going on. So the door is just slightly in from the panel, and I have it slightly in all the way down. Because when you open it, you don't want it rubbing. And I got this all back together. I put all the bolts on, snugged them, loosened, fixed, pushed, pulled, cheated. This stuff bends really easy. It's really thin. Like right here, you can literally pull that out a 1/4 inch if you wanted to, so you could tweak it a little bit. I did the top, the bottom, snugged those, and then the panel, the bolt behind there, I pulled it out. I did it a couple times, and it's all set. It's all lined up basically the way it was before, just like the other side. So it's good. It's like legit perfectly lined up. And this panel looks a little cleaner, obviously, because it's freshly painted, but I think overall it matches pretty damn well. So I got the fender flare I'm going to put on next. Actually, what I want to do is get that fender liner put in. This recycled milk carton plastic. I'm going to stick that back in because it's way easier when the fender flare is off, and then I'll put the fender flare back on. Get the liner back in. I'll put the fender flare back on. I'm not taking this tape off until I have it screwed on and lined up, and I'll pull it back a little bit and then peel it and stick it while it's on, because once this sticks, that's it. Oh. So yeah, I was peeling the other side and I let go of it. It stuck, and I'm like, this would be cool to show you guys how I'm doing this, because I have it screwed on with most of the screws to get it in position. Now I'm just pulling this out, the backing of the double stick tape. And then I go back to, get the camera, and it broke. And I'm like, damn, dude. Getting it back stuck on, man. And I cleaned. They buffed this and waxed it. I Dawn for Dishes, man, just took the wax off before I did this. And that's it. Just about good, if not better than OEM. And that's sticking nice. Front left 1/4 panel installation with the fender flares. All right, let me lower this thing down, and I'm basically done. I'm just gonna double check everything, get the rest of the panel screws in. I still can't believe that much crap came out of that corner. I'm probably gonna do the other one just to get the dirt out somehow, because that's a lot of dirt. And sitting dirt in a metal panel is not smart. That would suck if I scraped the panel off my garage. It's so tight. And man, that was an easy installation. Went smooth, went quick. It's a shame these things are rotting after 5 years because of a stupid dampening pad, but it is what it is. I mean, what are we gonna do? You can get aftermarket panels as well. I don't think they come with the dampening pad. The problem with aftermarket panels is you don't know, if you're just doing it to sell it, But if you plan on keeping the truck, then you know you want something that's quality. And usually OEM is quality. All right, guys, there it is. Paint match is pretty close. 5 years old, 2 weeks old. Came out good. I got no more rot on the panels anywhere that I know of. I'm sure the other side will do it soon. The good thing about quarter panels is you can pop them off. When these start going, then you get into custom bodywork along with these. I had a Bronco and I had to cut it out and MIG weld panels back in. Panel installation. I am dropping the front an inch. There'll be a video for that soon. Getting the upper control arms from Max Tracks to drop it another inch because I don't like it's too high in the front for me. It's been a couple weeks, so it's settled, and it's not going down any more than that. I hope this helps somebody out if they're looking to replace that panel. It's very easy. And if you got fender flares, I show you how to put it on, no problem. Like it never happened. Here's just a quick look at the suspension back here. I love the way this looks. Get a lot of looks in the highway, you know what I mean? I'll be doing a review on that on the 2.4 drop as well. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Again, stay tuned. Till next time. Peace. Now you got me wondering if Pittsburgh Tools has a warranty, like a guarantee, like Craftsman used to. You break a Craftsman tool, you bring it in, you get a free one. Let me know. If you watch this video to the end and you can see this and you saw this, let me know if they do. I'm gonna look it up too, but I'd like to go in and get another one. Can't complain. These are cheap, and when they go, it doesn't bother you because you can buy a new one because they're cheap. My basketball doesn't dribble because it's old.
Yeah, and I wiggle when I'm cold. Yeah.